Let's be real, the ground is shifting right under our feet. The old rules of leadership, they're breaking apart. What if I told you there's a new playbook for this age of AI? A way to not just survive, but to actually lead the charge. It's called the Centaur Champion. And trust me, it's a model that could change absolutely everything.
Just let that sink in for a second. For years, right, the story has always been human versus machine. But you know what? That's the wrong fight. It was never the right fight. The future, it belongs to the people who can merge the two. And that, right there, is the heart of what it means to be a Centaur champion.
Okay, so before we can really look forward, we've got to understand the world we're leaving behind. It feels like we're caught in this weird spot, right? Right between the end of one massive industrial revolution and the, well, explosive start of the next. Think about it. For the last decade or so, the big mantra was just automate everything. Replace humans, optimize them right out of the system. That was what we called Industry 4.0, a story of us versus them. But now, oh man, the script has completely flipped. The new era, Industry 5.0, it's all about augmentation. It's human plus machine. So the goal isn't to replace people anymore. It's to create this powerful, totally new form of hybrid intelligence. And this massive shift, it creates a really personal crisis for a lot of leaders. There's a name for it, the wound of obsolescence. And it's that gut punch feeling, right? When you suddenly realize the skills you've spent an entire career perfecting can now be done faster, cheaper, and maybe even better by some algorithm. This isn't just a business problem, folks. It's a full-blown identity crisis. And that's exactly what makes this new model so incredibly urgent.
But here's the crazy part. That crisis, that awful feeling of being left behind, it's actually the key to a whole new way of winning. And it all started with one of the most famous human versus machine showdowns in all of history.
So picture this. It's 1997. The legendary chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov is sitting across the board from IBM's supercomputer, Deep Blue. In the middle of the match, the machine makes this one move, move 44. And it was so bizarre, so completely out of left field, that Kasparov thought he was seeing some kind of godlike genius at work. It totally broke him psychologically. He was crushed and he lost the match. But here's the kicker. Years later, the IBM team basically admitted it was probably just a glitch. The computer had no idea what to do, so it just made a random move. Kasparov literally defeated himself. But, and this is the important part, from that devastating defeat came an absolute stroke of genius. He went on to invent something called advanced chess, where humans and AI actually play as partners. And this whole thing led to a totally groundbreaking discovery, something we now call the Kasparov Principle. Get this, it turns out that a pretty average player with just a regular laptop could consistently beat a supercomputer or a grandmaster playing alone. How is that even possible? Well, the secret weapon wasn't the human or the machine. Nope, it was having a better process for making them work together. And this right here, this is the formula that changes the whole game. It's not about having the strongest human player or the most powerful computer, not at all. Victory belongs to whoever designs the best process for collaboration. That better process part, that is the real secret weapon. So, okay, if Kasparov gives us the logic, Greek mythology is where we find the soul of this idea. There's this figure, Chiron. He was a centaur, half human, half horse, and he suffered this terrible wound that he could never heal. But instead of letting that pain destroy him, he channeled it, he transformed it into a source of empathy, and became one of the greatest teachers in all of mythology. It's a perfect metaphor, isn't it? It's about the modern leader's journey, transforming that wound of obsolescence into a new kind of strength. All right, so that all sounds pretty profound, right? But how do we actually do this? How do you take that wound and turn it into a real strength? Well, it all comes down to mastering a really specific set of skills. Think of it as your new leadership armory for this AI era. Okay, here's your new curriculum. It's called the 5T skill set. First up is tactical intuition. That's just your gut feeling, that instinct to know when the AI is just flat out wrong. Second, we have technical fluency. And no, this isn't about learning to code. It's about understanding how AI thinks. Third is team agent collaboration, which is all about learning to manage these new hybrid teams of humans and AI agents. Number 4, transformative ethics. This is huge. It's about building the moral guardrails for all this new power. And finally, number 5, trust management. This might be the hardest one. It's that crucial skill of knowing when to let go and actually delegate to your AI partners. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's look at the proof, because it does. The source for this actually calls it the amplifier effect, and for good reason. The return on investment here isn't just a small step up, it's exponential. Just take PepsiCo, for example. By putting this Centaur model into practice, they're already seeing a 25 to 30% efficiency gain in their field operations. And that's not some pie-in-the-sky projection for the future. That's happening right now, today. Or look at companies using platforms like Salesforce's Agentforce. They're seeing a return on their investment up to 5 times faster. So why is that? It's because they're not just automating tasks. They're actually deploying what you could call synthetic employees, AI agents that act like real teammates, working right alongside their human counterparts from the get-go. This right here is the heart of that amplifier effect. A person working all by themselves has a certain output. Let's call it 1x. But when you pair that same person with AI in a true Centaur partnership, you don't just add to their capacity, you literally multiply it. We could be talking about a 10-fold increase in effectiveness. That's a game changer. And listen, it's not just a couple of big tech companies doing this. We're seeing it everywhere. PepsiCo is turning their sales reps from simple order takers into strategic business developers. The city of Kyle in Texas is reporting that their employees are fresher and more relaxed because AI is handling all the drudgery. And in really high-stakes fields like medicine, a company called Centaur Labs is proving that a human AI team is way more accurate than either a human or an AI working alone. So the proof is definitely there, and the model is pretty clear. But what does this journey actually look like for you, for us? Well, the path to becoming a true Centaur champion isn't an overnight thing. It's a multi-year evolution, and here's what the roadmap looks like. Just think back to 2023. Feels like a lifetime ago, right? It was all about basic digital literacy, just learning how to write a good prompt for ChatGPT. Now, in 2025, we're in what you could call the AI proficiency phase, where we're actually integrating these tools into our daily work. But the biggest leap, that's the next one. It means crossing something called the trust barrier, that huge psychological hurdle of actually delegating real control and authority to an AI agent. See, a Centaur champion doesn't just use AI tools, they orchestrate entire systems of autonomous agents. And this all brings us to a final, really powerful image. This raw, untamed power of AI, it's here. It's not coming, it's here. And you can see it as a threat, a beast that you should be afraid of, or you can see it as a powerful partner. The choice is yours. Will you learn to ride? And really, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? The technology isn't on the horizon anymore. It's in the room with us. The old way of leading is fading fast. So, you've met the beast. Now the only question left is, will you learn to ride?